Welcome to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. In today's video, we're checking out the range of 2-in-1 pedals from Caline. These offer overdrives, distortions, clean boost, compressors, delays, chorus, all in a 2-in-1 package. They're very functional and very usable. I've written this new backing track to showcase each of them in the mix, and then we'll go through each of them individually. A massive thank you to Caline for sending these out for this particular video. I really appreciate it. I'll also timestamp this video so you can skip ahead back or forth to each of the individual pedal reviews. Let's get into it. First up, we have the Sundance Special. This is an overdrive and clean boost in one. The overdrive circuit is based on the BB preamp or the Caline Orange Burst. We get a 2-band EQ, a gain control, and a volume control for the overdrive. The clean boost over here can be used on its own or stacked with the overdrive for more saturated tones. And you can access that via this pot here, allowing you to get up to 20 dB of additional boost. Alright, let's kick it off. In today's video, I'm plugged into my Fender Blues Deluxe reissue amplifier on the clean channel of the amp. And I'm starting out with the Harley Benton Fusion T HHFNT. It's loaded with 2 Roswell humbucker pickups that you can also coil tap. And we'll use a mix throughout a couple of different pedals here. This is bridge pickup on clean. That's in humbucker mode. Pedal on with the gain at 12 o'clock. Take a listen to this. Alright, that sounds cool. Let's turn this back a little bit, so a little bit less gain now. Alright, now let's kick on the boost. I've got it set to about 12 o'clock. So you can use this as a rhythm guitar pedal and then kick it in for a solo. That's really cool. What I'm going to do now is crank the gain back up with the boost off. I'm going to start with my volume control down so you can hear just how great this cleans up. It's pretty cool. Volume up. This one's cool, I dig it. This is the Key West Overdrive and Compressor pedal. The Overdrive circuit's based on the Zen Drive, which is one of the most popular Dumble style overdrive circuits of all time. We get a tone and a voice control, so we can drastically change the feel of the pedal by turning the voice up this way to make it far brighter, or if you want a little bit more of a traditional Dumble sound, you can bring the voice control down. This can also stack really well with the compressor. We can use the compressor as a volume boost by cranking up the volume here. We can make the compressor brighter by also adjusting the EQ parameter here. And the compression knob is this one right here. The more we add, the more compression you're going to get. This is extremely musical and a great 2-in-1 combination. Let's start with the compressor, but we're going to start it with it currently off so you can hear the difference between the clean tone and the compression tone. So this is both pickups in split coil mode with the tone and volume controls all the way up. Compressor on. One of the great things about this compressor is you can make it brighter by running the EQ control this way. Or you can round it out by bringing it back this way. A little bit on the muddy side for me, that, so anywhere about 11 o'clock onwards sounds pretty good. Alright, so that's the compressor. You can of course crank up the compression level, which will reduce the dynamics overall, so if you play soft or hard, it's basically the same thing. Now this overdrive is vastly different to the compressor. So this is based on a Dumble-ish kind of sound. So let's give this a shot on bridge pickup in split coil mode to start with. Yeah, that sounds cool, man. Let's crank up the gain a little bit more. Humbucker mode. Got that big round full sound, pretty cool. Let's go ahead now and use the compressor as a boost. Man, that's awesome. That's really, really cool. Up next we have the Brutus, which is a really musical distortion and overdrive 2-in-1. The Dyna style overdrive on this side allows us to shape the low mid control, which allows us to get a really fat and thick sound. I really dig this distortion, and it works extremely well with the overdrive circuit, which again is that Midlander or Tube Screamer style circuit. We can of course change the direction of the signal flow just by tapping on the voice control. Over to bridge pickup in humbucker mode, starting with the overdrive with everything set to about 1 o'clock. Here we go. Classic vintage overdrive tone right there. Let's go over now to the distortion on its own so you can hear the difference. Now the great thing about this pedal is because you've got that mid boost pedal on the right, you can stack it into the left or reverse the order depending on where you have this voice button. It's currently green, so we're going right to left and then out into the amp. So if I click this on now, we're going to be stacking the overdrive circuit into the distortion. Have a listen. Yeah, and you can just simply change the order of the pedal by pushing the voice control. I much prefer it that way around with the green light on to my ear. That sounds the best. This is the Andes Overdrive and Clean Boost pedal in one. This overdrive circuit's based on Caline's Pure Sky, or that Timmy style overdrive pedal, so we get a 2-band EQ including bass and treble. The Clean Boost allows us to use the Clean Boost directly into the overdrive, or we can reverse the order using the voice control right here. The Clean Boost will give us up to 20 dB of additional gain. Over to my Fender Stratocaster, I'll just give you a quick sample of my clean tone before we kick the pedal on. Neck pickup. All right, let's start with the overdrive. And I've got the gain most of the way down, giving us a very transparent overdrive. Beautiful. Let's crank it up to about 12. Great blues tone. Volume control down, we'll see how well it cleans up. What a huge difference. Now all the way up. That's super cool. Now let's kick on the boost. So if you want a lead boost, click it on, set it wherever you like. As long as it's above 12, it should be louder than the starting tone. Here we go. And that's where it shines. Get onto that bridge pickup. Now I've got it pushed pretty hard right now, so let's turn the gain down. We'll crank the boost up just a little bit more. Let's try this. We'll go back to neck pickup. Now another benefit to this pedal is if you are a neck pickup player, turn the bass back a bit, crank up the treble, and you'll get really musical tones for that neck pickup. Now running this pedal in reverse just makes your overdrive sound louder thanks to the boost. So I'm just going to crank this down a little bit. Here we go. Actually sounds a hair brighter as well, so I don't really like running it this way. I think the green light again is the winner. Up next is the Brigade 2-in-1 overdrive pedal, and this also allows you to change the order of the effects. On this side we have the Caline Midlander or Tube Screamer style overdrive, mixed with the Pure Sky or Timmy style overdrive on this side. Again, you can change the order just by using the voice control, and the light will change to represent which order we're in. This pedal's made for blues. Let's start on the left hand side. I think this sounds really cool. Classic Tube Screamer style sound. Let's turn that off. We'll go over to the right hand side, which is the Pure Sky tone. That's such a great off clean tone. That holds its own with far more expensive pedals. We can of course crank up the gain a little bit more. Here we go. Woo, that is nice. Now if we turn the gain down and crank up the volume, we can use it as a boost into the left side or vice versa. So let's firstly stack the right side into the left. Here we go. Now one of the things about a Strat is it can sound great on that bridge pickup, but sometimes it can just sound a little bit shrill. So we can crank up the bass and give it far more oomph in the mix, or turn the treble down. It's up to you how you want to run it. All right, now let's change the order. So we're going the other way around. This cool looking pedal is the Caline Nightwolf. We get an overdrive circuit, which is using that Pure Sky overdrive or that Timmy style OD. And on this side we get a fuzz face, which is controlled by these two pots right here. You can of course change the order just by using the voice control in the center. Let's start on the right side of the pedal on neck pickup. Here we go. So that's that Caline Pure Sky Overdrive, very usable, very functional. Now over to the fuzz side, you can see I've got the fuzz and volume all the way up. I'm not sure what it is, but this doesn't have a whole lot of output, so I have to crank it up. I don't know if it's just this sample unit I've got that has this issue, or if all of them are like this, so go check out some other videos if you're thinking about buying this one, just to double check. But I'll show you what I can get out of it. Here we go. Now I'm going to show you what's going on. So basically if I turn this anywhere down past all the way up, you lose all the volume. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on there, and if I stack it, you're also at the mercy of the left channel because the output volume isn't there. So yeah, this one may be faulty, I'm not 100% certain, but unfortunately I can't show you how well it stacks. Otherwise it's just going to sound pretty much the same as that. Up next we have a 2-in-1 that's very different to the rest. We get a gate and distortion, which works extremely well in combination to each other. So this is a high gain metal distortion. The noise gate is very simple to use. You can set your threshold just by turning this up. Now there's a really fine line between too much and not enough. So have a play around with this to get the best results, and I'll show you just how well this works. The distortion gives us two different voicings. We get an extreme and classic thanks to this two-way toggle switch. This distortion is based on the Bounty Hunter heavy metal distortion, so if you get a kick out of that individual pedal, you'll no doubt get a kick out of this. Over to my Fender Telecaster, this is the bridge pickup on clean. Sounds kind of wimpy, but just give me a second. Let's crank on the distortion on the extreme mode. So notice all the noise. This is normal given that this is a single coil guitar. Let's click on the gate, and it's gone. This is so much more pleasing to the ear. The gate works beautifully. All right, over to classic mode now. Let's take a listen. That's like a very different sound. We're going to crank up the mids a little bit more. Dead quiet. I'm not a big fan of that distortion tone. I much prefer the extreme one. Given the scenario we're in right now, I much prefer this. Has more of that sort of classic heavy sound. It's all subjective stuff. I'm sure some people will prefer the classic mode. The Easy Driver has to be one of the most musical pedals in the range if you're a huge fan of the Mesa Boogie style distortion channel. We get two gain controls and a level control, and we can optionally kick on an EQ, which does a lot of great things to the signal. EQ can work in a number of different ways. It can shape your tone to give you more bass, more mids, more cut in the mix, whatever you like, but you can also use it as a volume boost. EQ pedals are extremely underrated, and paired with this distortion, it sounds really good. Let's start on the right hand side of the pedal with the distortion. I have gain 2 down at about 10 o'clock and gain 1 up at about 2 o'clock. This is bridge pickup. That's huge. Let's crank up gain 2 and gain 1. Here we go. It's got all the gain in the world. Now, if I turn down, it's not going to clean up that much. It always has that distortion on the tone, even with the guitar volume down. It still sounds a bit cleaner, but not that much. But a huge difference to this. All right, let's bring in the EQ. So, for example, if you want a bit more clarity, you can bring the bass or the lower frequencies down a little bit. We can scoop it or push the mids. And the high end we can bring up as well. So let's give this a shot. Do a bit of a classic V here. Here we go. So depending on what type of guitar you're playing, your amplifier and all that kind of stuff, you'll want to set the EQ accordingly, but you can definitely get some good sounds out of this. Just crank it back to a little bit above flat and it'll crank the level up as well. So just for example, this is with the EQ currently off. And on. That level control on the EQ, awesome. Up next we have the Steller EQ compressor. I could see this being used in conjunction with a couple of the other pedals in the pedal board chain, more so than on its own, but I'll show you how it works on the clean channel of the amp. So if you're a country player or if you do any type of funk, you'll get a kick out of what this has to offer. The compressor is extremely musical and you can also adjust the EQ of it by turning it up this way for brighter or down this way for less brightness. We get a 5-band EQ and a level control over here. The level control can work as a really great volume boost, or you can set it up so you can just shape the frequency of your particular amplifier. It's very musical and you can use either of them at the same time or on their own. Before we turn the pedal on, I'll just show you my clean tone. This is bridge and middle pickups together. All right, compressor on, so this will be much louder now. Beautiful, now we can add in the EQ and get a volume boost and more frequencies out of our guitar, so we can shape it however we like, making this perfect for a lead boost, or if we just want to get a nice mellow sound, we can shape the EQ that way. But take a listen to the difference now. I had it set up so it would be louder and it would also poke through the mix better if you were playing live. That's a really cool sound. And off, as a point of comparison. This is a really versatile pedal. I think most people think of EQ as just shaping a tone and that's it, but you can absolutely use it as a boost. I think this is maybe one of the most functional pedals in the range here. So we can turn the EQ down and get a much warmer sound if we want to go for something more modern here. We can kind of scoop this a little bit. Here we go. Over to neck and middle. So you get lots of sounds out of this pedal. It's far more functional than I think people give EQ pedals credit for. They're pretty cool. One of my favorite pedals of the bunch is the Devilfish. This is a delay and chorus 2-in-1. This is extremely musical and dead silent going through the effects loop of my amplifier. This side is the analog delay, so we get a time, an echo, and feedback. The feedback is how many times it will repeat. The echo is the amount of mix, so the wet signal is further this way. If you want more of your original guitar tone, turn it down this way. The time is how long it takes for the delay to come back. Now, there's no tap tempo or anything on this, but I wouldn't expect it at this particular price point. Over here we have a chorus effect, which gives us the three main controls. The level is your mix, the depth is how prominent the waveform is, and the rate is the speed of the effect. So this is extremely musical, and again, if you're running it through the effects loop or in the front end of your amp, you're gonna get good results. Let's start on neck and middle pickups using the chorus only, and I've set it up with basically everything at 12 o'clock. Here we go. Sounds beautiful going through the effects loop of the amplifier. Now you can change up lots of parameters on here, including the depth, which is how deep the waveform actually is, and the rate. So let's slow it down a little bit now and we'll take a listen. That's a really musical chorus. We can, of course, speed it up this way. Awesome. Now, if you want more mix, you can turn up the level control, which is going to make it more prominent, or you can back it off if you don't need as much in your signal. Turn it the other way. So you can still hear the chorus there, but it's nowhere near as prominent as turning the level the other way. Over to the analog delay side on the left-hand side of the pedal, and I've turned the chorus off. So I've set up a fast repeat, but a prominent mix so you can hear exactly what it's doing. This is neck and middle still. All right, let's slow it down by turning the time up. I'm also going to turn the mix down so it's not as prominent now. Beautiful. And now we can turn the feedback down as well so we get less repeats if we turn it down to the left. And if we want more, we can crank it up this way. So it almost wants to take off already with the feedback up there, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to turn this down for a moment and crank on some overdrive. Let's give this a shot. So with the Brutus Overdrive pedal, that's a great combination. Now let's add a little bit of chorus. So this is drive, delay, and chorus all at once. So that's with the volume control down. Let's turn it back up. Up next we have the Artemis, which might be the most simple 2-in-1 pedal I've ever seen, but also very, very effective. We get a volume boost on this side, which can be used with this pot and only this pot over here, so it gives you up to 20 dB of additional gain. The rest of these three controls here correspond to the compressor. You can use the boost on its own or the compressor on its own, or both at the same time, and I'll showcase that in this video. This will work great for folks who might play country, funk, or want to add this to their pedal board to use a boost into another overdrive or a compressor into another overdrive. The options are up to you how you want to use it, but very, very simple. Gets the big thumbs up. Let's start on both pickups with the pedal currently off. Now the compressors work great for funk, for country, any kind of clean stuff. And again, we can change it to a more rolled out sound. Or we can have it so it's a bit brighter. Feels great to play, and you can adjust the level as much as you like here, as well as the compression level. I'll just turn it up a little bit more. All right, now let's try it with the boost, and then I'll show you how the boost works independent to the compressor. Here we go, so this is both. So that works great if you want to boost your clean channel. This is the pedal to get. Now, this boost side can also push and amplify a clean channel into overdrive. So let's give this a shot. Bridge. Thanks for watching, folks. My name's Shane. A massive thanks to Caline for sending these out for the review. I really appreciate it. I'm going to give you my thoughts about this entire range. So while a lot of this isn't new, if you're talking about their effects from their single pedal range, the great thing about it is you get an awesome 2-in-1. So if you don't already have your two favorite pedals from them, then you can just get one of these and you'd be done. Having two overdrives, or an overdrive and a boost, or an overdrive and distortion, or compressor, or whatever, in a 2-in-1 pedal like this is very, very functional. I was a big fan of the Key West, the Andes, the Brigade, the Devilfish, the delay and chorus pedal, as well as a few of the others. The Sundance Special was also really good. The only one I didn't really like here was the Nightwolf, and I think that's because the fuzz circuit doesn't sound like it's working correctly. So again, if you're interested in this, go check out some other videos and see if they had the same issue that I've had. It could just be a one-off, but I still wanted to include it in this video just to give you an honest representation of what was going on. If you like the higher gain tones, you can go for a gate and distortion. This might be slightly out of my wheelhouse, but I had fun using it, and the gate works extremely well. So if you want a modern or a higher gain type of pedal, this would definitely do the job. So as a 2-in-1 effects pedal, these hold their own tone-wise and even visually up there with far more expensive pedals. So these might be some of the best Caline have ever made. Now I did a full breakdown of their single pedals as well. If you missed that, I'll link it up in the cards and you can check it out after this video, but I'm very, very impressed with these. I'm actually gonna put a board together and combine a few, so stay tuned for that video. Thanks again for watching. Catch you soon. See ya.